go into the Western church, go into Christianity, and there's Catholics and Protestants. I was raised Catholic. I love Catholics. There are Catholics that love Jesus. But part of the problem with work in Catholicism, especially for men, the leader is the priest. And the priest is committed to poverty and chastity. Just so you know, that's my unbucket list. My unbucket list is poverty and chastity. I don't want to die a broke virgin at the church. And in fact, I promise you that's not how I'm going out. And so, but within that, it doesn't bring the healthiest men, and it doesn't encourage and inspire men. Because if the leader is, well, he doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have kids, he doesn't own anything, he's not building anything, and he's not responsible for anyone, it's really hard to admire that guy. It's really hard to say, I want to be like that guy. No, I don't want to be like that guy. I want to get married, want to have kids, want to build a company, want to generate some revenue, want to leave a legacy. The only thing that makes sense and makes work meaningful would be the view of the Protestant Reformation. And so I'll tell you a little bit historically. There was a French sociologist named Alexis de Tocqueville, and he looked at the greatness of America. Why is America prosperous? Why is it succeeding? And he did this massive sociological work in the 1800s. And he wrote a book called Democracy in America. And it sort of explained from outside of American history the genius of America. And he said that American capitalistic success was entirely because of religious commitment. And he said those who are Bible-believing Protestants, especially the men, number one, they believe that work is a good thing. Number two, they believe that debt is bad and God's resources should be stewarded. And number three, that men are responsible for the well-being of their family and they're going to take care of their wife and kids. He said those convictions from God's word created the success of Western capitalism. He also sort of gave a prophetic word. He worried that, quote, a taste for physical gratification would become so great that we would become so prosperous that we would get addicted to pleasure and we would forget to work. And he said that his concern was that we would be carried away and lose all self-restraint, and that the success of the Protestant work ethic would lead to people who were so prosperous that they became addicted and they no longer worked hard, and that would undermine democracy and also financial success. That's exactly where we find ourselves today. Our greatest threat as a society is not an attack from the outside, but just self-destruction from the inside. Obesity, pornography, addictions, alcoholism, opioid crisis. People don't have to go to work and they end up self-destructing because they're so prosperous. In addition, 75 years later, there was a German sociologist, Max Weber. He wrote a book called The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, and he came up with this phrase. He called it the Protestant work ethic. The Protestant work ethic. And he looked at the success of the most prosperous nation, the most powerful and preeminent nation in the history of the world. He said it's because of the Protestant work ethic. The men know how to work. They don't go into debt. They take responsibility for themselves and their families. And he came to the conclusion that if you build your life upon the Bible, you work hard for 6 days, you take your day of Sabbath rest, you invest in your wife and your children as your first responsibility, that's how you get a flourishing society.
Howdy, Pastor Mark here. Thanks for viewing the clip. And if you'd like the entire sermon, we've got it ready to go.